Okay, I'm back, and we're going to do part two of this recruiting training. My battery died on the first part there, so we're going to come back with the second segment here. Um, we were talking about social media, so I've got a few more things to mention on that. We're also going to talk a little bit about unethical practices and things not to do. And then I mentioned in the last video that I'm not going to spend time talking too much about specific approaches and specific follow-ups, but I actually changed my mind. I am going to include that here, although there are more videos on my channel about that. So there's going to be a lot of content coming to my channel, so be sure to come back. Be sure to hit the subscribe button. Be sure to click like if you truly do like my content. I would sure appreciate it. And I've got a lot of great stuff for you, so feel free to keep coming back. So I'm going to go over some of those approaches and follow-up phrases and techniques. I'm also going to talk about retention and also motivation versus inspiration. I've got some more good stories for you. Let's see. Innovation versus duplication. And let's see, what else do we have here? Automation, and how that's frequently misrepresented by the gurus. Good story about that. And then also bonuses and incentives, and how it's human nature to want to get more and to receive more benefit from what we have to give them. So the importance of that. And then I may have a few surprises there at the end, and then I'm going to have a list of people for you to look up to get further information and further insights on some of the things that I'm speaking about here. I'm not, reluctant to steer you in the direction of other people who are very successful in their own right and have a lot of great content to share with you if you look them up and consume their content and apply what they have to share with you. So go ahead and jump back in with social media here for a few minutes. I think I don't recall if I mentioned this or not, but all business is a conversation, and the trick is to keep it going so that the possibilities remain open. As soon as the conversation stops, then the possibilities are pretty much over. So one way to keep that conversation going, of course, is to continue to be nice, honest, and respectful. Continue to listen. Continue to be a real person instead of some scammy or aggressive person that is trying to box people into a corner and get them to do something that they might not want to do. Keep that conversation open by asking questions. The person who asks the questions in any conversation is basically the person in control. And the prospect may or may not realize that, but that is the case because you're steering the conversation in a direction that has several purposes, of course. Number one, you're trying to get information from them so you can find out how to be of service. Of course, you are leading the conversation in the direction that is your agenda. You don't really have an agenda because you let the prospect make their own decisions. But in terms of getting the information that you need and at least doing what you can to steer the conversation in a direction that is possibly going to lead to a business alliance or an enrollment, that's of course the objective. And you basically you give the prospect the feeling that they are in control because you're asking open-ended questions, allowing them to respond to you with what's truly on their minds and on their hearts, giving information that is what they need. They need and want solutions, and when you ask for those, for information that will reveal what it is that they want, then they feel like, hey, this person really cares. They're listening to me. They're asking good questions. Just remember, I was a journalism student in school, and I remember that the five most important words in the journalism profession, when you're being a reporter, for example, is who, what, when, where, and why. And I think that applies here as well. You can ask people. Good examples. What is what's your reason for taking a look at what I have? Why is that important to you? What time frame are you looking at? What do you want to accomplish? Um, what have you tried in the past, if anything? Do you have any experience in this type of business? Um, who have you learned from? And what types of topics do you feel you might need some clarification on? Do you have any questions about what we're talking about? Things like that. Who, what, when, where, and why. And keep the conversation going. And it's not always about business. I mean, on social media specifically, it's all about connecting with your prospect. Somebody pointed out in the group that there are some differences between prospecting on social media and prospecting out, in the quote real world, using the phone or face to face or whatnot. And I'm not sure I completely agree with that. I'm sure there's some distinctions about that, but it all comes down to human communication and interaction. People respond to people who are interested in them, who inquire about them, and in terms of social media, it's sometimes as simple as just going to their profile and commenting or liking one of their posts and saying, hey, and it doesn't even have to be about business. If you see a picture of somebody's family, you might come back and say, hey, that's a good looking family you've got there. How old's your little one? The one you see in the picture there. Or how long have you been living where you are? Do you have a? They say they have a home in Colorado. Well, how long have you been living there? My aunt and uncle used to live in Colorado, and it was great to visit out there. Love the Rocky Mountains. Connect with people on a personal level, and then if they are talking about, if they're already involved in a business, for example, then you can make a comment, especially if you know the company. Lots of times I've gone on people's walls when they're talking about their company and said something, a company that I'm familiar with, and I've said something like, that's a great company. I've heard good things about that company. You really don't want to be talking badly about any products or services or companies that they may be representing. Even if they're going about it the wrong way, you don't want to be a negative Nelly. You don't want to come in there and make them feel bad or destroy their dreams or whatnot. Try to be supportive and be engaging and make positive comments. If you've ever seen the movie Bambi, which I saw as a very young boy, I think it was what Thumper said to Bambi, or vice versa. If you don't have anything good to say, don't say anything at all. If you have nothing nice to say, don't say anything at all. And that's a good thing to remember in this business is be supportive, be positive, be engaging. Make comments. You don't spam your stuff on other people's comments. We're going to come back to that in a minute with unethical practices, but just be engaging and friendly, and then you can have a specific conversation off their wall or off your wall, and go to Messenger and talk a little bit with them, and perhaps make an approach there. We're going to come back to that in a little bit when I get to specific techniques. So, as I mentioned before, when you're posting on your wall, show your face, take pictures, do Facebook Lives. Do them as often as you can. I know it's uncomfortable, but people do business with people that they know, like, and trust. And after all, it's Facebook, right? Facebook is was created so that you can show your face, so that you can be social, so that people can connect with you, and it's great for that. But Facebook doesn't like a lot of business promotion. Don't put your links on your Facebook posts. Some people do it, but and some people get away with it. I mean, you can, but it's going to reduce your reach. Fewer people are going to see your posts if you put links on your posts, And Facebook actually doesn't like links being put on their platform, because when somebody clicks on those links, it takes the viewer off of Facebook, and Facebook doesn't want people leaving Facebook. They want them to stay there and be on the platform. In large part because there's ads there. There's people paying for ads, and they want people to stay there so they have a good shot at seeing those ads and clicking on them. So it's all about, it's Facebook's platform, so we need to play by Facebook's rules. So don't, be posting links. I mean, you might occasionally do it, but don't make a practice of it. And again, I've mentioned this before, but if you're saying anything about your product or service on your Facebook profile, be a little mysterious. Generate some curiosity. Give somebody a reason to reach out to you and say, "Hey, what is that you were talking about? You mentioned, losing weight with this great product, but you didn't mention what it was. What is it? How much is it?" Have people, again, it's a way to have people come to you. It's a type of attraction marketing. You can post before and after pictures and something like that, but a lot of people discourage against that because it's been overused. It's something that used to work really well a few years ago. It doesn't work quite as well now, just as an example. But post pictures of you. If you're going to post a picture of you holding a product, hold it so the label's not visible, so that they can't figure out what it is and go to Google and look it up and possibly buy it from somebody else based on your story or testimonial. Just, talk about the benefits of using it, or, show it and tell a story of how somebody else has benefited from it, or how you have, and have people reach out to you for more information. The jury's a little bit out on this. I've gotten suggestions from a top marketer to never ever ask people to contact you directly. Like, don't say, hit me up for more information, or type yes or type info in the comments below. This is a post on your wall, for example. And I know a lot of people that do that and appear to be successful doing that. So that's a judgment call. But the person that I learned from, who is a multi-six-figure earner, discourages against doing that. So you can test it and see if it works for you. But even better than that, because as soon as you say contact me for more information, then it's becoming pretty obviously a promotional post. And again, you're not wanting to appear that way. So it's better just to throw out your air of mystery and your curiosity generation ideas and phrases and so on, and let people come to their own conclusion that, hey, if I want to know more, I need to reach out to this person, and they'll do that. So test that both ways, but I would suggest not asking people to message me for more info or comment below for more info. Try it and see what happens, but I'd recommend against it. And the thing about social media is that that people, a lot of marketers think they have to be perfect, they have to be polished. I mean, I felt this way for quite some time. That you have to be slick, and that people are going to respond to me if I'm really professional and slick and polished. And I found and learned that is not the case. People actually connect with others who are being real, who are being authentic, who are being vulnerable, who are not afraid to admit some shortcomings, who are not afraid to fumble around a little bit. I mean, you see me doing this video, and occasionally I'll do a little fumbling around or looking at my notes or this. I'm just being a real person here. And if you connect with that, awesome. If you don't connect with that, that's fine too. But I see Facebook Lives and different posts, and people who are being vulnerable online, being themselves, and very casually and with curiosity promoting what they have, and they're not afraid to fumble around a little bit or be real. Those are the people that are really getting a lot of engagement and sales. So don't worry about being polished or perfect or saying just the right things. It's about being a real human being, and people are going to go, hey, well, that's awesome. I mean, look at this guy. He's just kind of being a regular guy or a regular girl, and and he's not worrying about it, and that's going to draw them even a little closer to you. So don't worry about being perfect or polished. Um, as far as I guess that's pretty much it for social media. I am going to touch on Messenger a little bit. I'm going to come back to that when I get into some techniques here in a little bit and some phrasing and so on. But before I get to that, I'm going to talk about unethical practices for a minute. If you're on Facebook, and let's say you're in Facebook groups and you see somebody who's posting an ad for what they are promoting, don't come in the comments below their ad or post and promote your own thing. That is so tacky. So have you ever noticed that if somebody does that, nobody comes in and likes it and responds positively to that? That's because it's unethical. It's tacky. If you're gonna advertise it all that way on Facebook, and there's, Facebook groups is not a particularly effective way to advertise, depending on how you do it, of course, but it is something that worked really well several years ago, and a lot of people signed up, folks that were doing Facebook posts and ads and so on, but it's not something that works real well today. With a few exceptions, I'll come right back to that, but you don't hijack other people's posts with your promotional stuff. If you're going to advertise, create your own ad, create your own post. And if people hijack your post, just smile, let it go. When that happened to me, I used to come in and kind of blast them a little bit, or come in there and tell them to get some professionalism and go somewhere else. And then after a while, I just stopped doing that. It's a waste of my time, right? Why even engage my mental energy in that? So if people do it to you, just laugh it off and go on. They're being spammers. They're being non-professional. So as far as don't, if you're doing an ad in Facebook groups, there's an exception to this, but as a general rule, you want to get permission from people to show what you have, and I'll come back to that in a minute with the techniques and so on. But you want to, it's called permission-based marketing. I can't remember who came up with that term, maybe Simon Sinek, but it's a matter of getting people's okay for you to forward information. Now, if you're putting out an ad in Facebook groups, that's different, of course. But I'll come back to that in a little bit. But let's see, what did I just tell you I was going to come back to? It'll probably come back to me here in a second. I'm sorry, I woke up a little bit ago and I'm still a little foggy. I'm having my energy drink here, but okay. Let's see. If you are reaching out to people, and if you're using social media to prospect, and back in the day, people would pick up the phone and make phone calls and not worry about interrupting people, or I mean, it was common for people to make phone calls and for the person receiving the calls to pick up the phone. And if you're in Messenger, for example, and if you want to reach out to somebody by, say, Messenger phone or Messenger video, in this day and time, it's important to set that up beforehand. I've got calls from people that I've gotten calls at 4 a.m. They happen to see me online and they've reached out to me the day before or whatever, and all of a sudden there's a phone call coming in out of the blue. I'm never going to pick that up, and nobody else is going to either. So if you want to reach somebody by Messenger phone or video, then send a text message in Messenger and say, hey, is it okay if we connect by phone or video? And what's a good time for you to do that? So that they're expecting you to reach out at a certain time, or you can tell them to reach out to you. And then, you've essentially gotten permission for that contact, and it's not aggressive or abrasive or anything like that. You never want to lie on social media. I think I've mentioned this in the previous video. You never want to fake it until you make it. You never want to portray yourself as something other than you are. In the beginning of the last video, I shared with you that I'm not a top earner. I'm making money in the industry. I have for years, but it's not a ton of money. I'm not a six-figure earner. I'm not going to tell you that I am. And so you want to be real with people. You don't want to lie. You don't want to deceive people. You just want to be real and to be authentic. And like I said before, be vulnerable. Let's see here. Give me just a second to make sure I've covered everything here that was important to share. Okay, I think it's time to get into some of the techniques and some of the phrasing for going through the process, the invitations, and the directing people to tools. I've already talked about how to construct your story, so I'm not going to go over that again. That's in the previous video, and then the follow-ups and so on. But again, going backwards, just to repeat this one more time, it's important to be nice, honest, and respectful. And if you're going to reach out to somebody, then a good place to start is, let's just assume you've already done a little bit of rapport building. You've already connected with somebody on social media, or you've already got a relationship with people that you're maybe using the phone or face-to-face contacting, or maybe you don't. There's techniques for whatever situation, and I'll try to go over them all here. But let's say you're talking to somebody that you know, and you want to approach them about your business or your product. So you might contact them either online or offline. The technique's going to be the same, and say, hey, maybe you know something previously about them. Let's say you know that they're really health focused and concerned about their health because they're getting older and they're slowing down, and they want to make sure they're going to stay healthy in the future as they get older, and they want to protect themselves against unnecessary risks for disease or other things. You might come in because you know that already. You might come in and say, I know you've been concerned about your health, and you mentioned that to me, and I've been thinking about that. Let me ask you something real quick. This may or may not be for you, but if I were to share a great health product with you that I've been using that I feel really good about and be getting benefits from, would that be something that you would be open to taking a look at and seeing if it's a good fit for you? You might say something like that. Again, keep it pretty low key. Tell them it's okay to say no. You're not, boxing people into a corner. If I could share something with you, that's a great framework. A great way to frame a question is, if I could do this, would you be willing to take a look? Would you be open to investigating the possibilities? Would you be open to reviewing some information? If I could share with you a product that I've been using in my family that my wife and I love, would you be open to taking a look at it, or even maybe trying it for 30 days completely 100% risk-free? And they're either going to say yes or no, and if they say no, that's perfectly fine. Let them know it's okay to say no. Another thing, if you're talking about a business approach, hey, I was thinking about you, and I really compliment the prospect, compliment them in some way. I was thinking about you, and I really admire the fact that you're as successful as you are, and you have a lot of business knowledge and acumen, and you're exactly the type of person that I'd love to work with if it was a good fit. Let me ask you, if I had a business opportunity to run by you, something online that could provide more time as well as more income, would that be something you'd be open to checking out to see if it's right for you? Something like that. Again, I want to repeat something I said in the last video. It doesn't matter specifically what words you use. You can't say the right thing to the wrong person, so don't worry about it. And you can't say the wrong thing to the right person. Let's say they truly are motivated to do something, to look at something, to at least investigate what's possible for them. If they're motivated to do that, you could probably fumble around a little bit and they're still going to at least say, especially if you're being nice and honest and respectful and you've complimented them and so on, they're going to say, yeah, I'll take a look. No guarantees, but I'll look at it. And that's all you can hope for, is for somebody to say, yes, I'd love to see your presentation or your company video or whatnot, and go from there. And they're either going to like it or they're not. And again, let the chips fall where they may. Let the cookie crumble where they do. So let's see. What are some other good ways? If you're going to reach out to somebody, be sure to be brief. Ask a question. Compliment the prospect if you know something about them. If you don't know, if it's somebody like a cold prospect and you don't know much about them, this is some stuff I learned from a guy named Justin, who is the top earner, or one of the top earners in the online funnel system that he's promoting. It's a funnel that promotes several different opportunities all within one funnel, and he's in the top 5 or 10 income earners there, and he taught me some cool stuff which I'm just now starting to implement with good results. He says, reach out to people on Messenger after, first of all, you friend request them, and you go to their wall, and you comment, like we were talking about a little bit ago. You comment on something that you like there, a post that you like, that you see that you resonate with, something that is appealing. You click a like, or even better, a love icon there, and make a comment about, hey, that's whatever it is. Just make a positive comment about whatever that post is about, and then you wait 24 hours. There's something special about waiting 24 hours. You don't come in right away, and then the next day, you might do the same thing again, and then come into Messenger and say, I really enjoyed your post about the your family, or your vacation that you took, or love that picture of the Rocky Mountains, that whatever. And I'd love to connect with you further, and let me ask you a question, and then you can make an approach. If I had something that would would give you more time, more income, and a way for you to generate another income without jeopardizing your family time or career, would that be something that you would be open to taking a look at? And because you've already connected with them, you've already been to their wall and left a positive comment or a few hearts or whatnot, then they're already warmed up to you a little bit. And if they have something on their wall that indicates, that reveals a problem or concern that they have, then you can reference that. I saw on your post that you're not feeling too well, or you're concerned about your health, or whatever. I may have something that'll help. If I had something that could do X, Y, Z, would you be open to taking a look at that? Seeing a short 8-minute video or whatever it is. And a lot of people, because you've warmed up to them, are going to say, well, yeah, I mean, this is the experience I'm having. Justin was sharing his results and experiences as well. They might go, hey, yeah, I'll take a look at that. Especially since you're nice and you're respectful. You've given them permission to say no. You're not being aggressive. Why wouldn't they take a look? The only reason they might not is if you're being, too abrasive and too aggressive with them, in which case their sales filter is gonna come up, and you're probably sunk at that point. So you just come in there and be a real person and ask the question. And a good significant portion of them are going to say, yeah, I'll take a look at that. And then, follow up a day or so later. Even better yet, ask them, okay, I'll send this over. Do you think you'll have a chance to take a look at that today, or will it be tomorrow? And, give people an alternative choice. It's not about yes or no, they're going to review it or not. It's, will you be able to see it today, or will you be able to see it tomorrow? So they'll give you an idea. Okay, I'll check back with you tomorrow and see how you felt about it or whatnot, and then go from there. So let's see. As far as reaching out to people, face to face, for example, you can if you just meet somebody and you're having a conversation, ask some questions that will reveal what's important to them. Again, be friendly, be social, be interested in other people. Always be interested in others, not trying to make yourself interesting. Because if you do that, it's going to come off wrong, and people are probably going to just kind of shut down and, oh, that guy talks too much about himself. I don't really like him, something like that. But if you're interested in other people, people love to talk about themselves and what's important to them. And they love the fact that, you use their name. They love to hear their name. What's the most important word in the English language to somebody named Pete? That word is Pete. That's the most important word in his language, is Pete, or Susie if it's, a woman, or Linda. So, use their name and connect with them and just have a conversation. You already know how to do this. You've been doing it your whole life. So start there. And then if they reveal a problem or concern, you have a choice at that point. You can either come right in and say, hey, I don't know if this is right for you or not. It may not be, but you've just shared with me something. I feel motivated to at least ask you this question. If I had something that might help you with that problem, would you be open to taking a look at it? And if you don't feel like it's appropriate to come right in, make a friend and get contact information and contact them later in a day or two. Or, hey, I was thinking about what you shared with me yesterday, and I was just I can't help but think that I may have something that could help, and I don't know if it's right for you. If you don't think it is, please say so. But if I had a possible solution for that problem that you shared with me, would you be open to checking out, checking that out to see if it might be right for you? And if you approach it that way and give them permission, or give them room and give them permission to say no and so on, the chances are pretty good that they're going to say, yeah, I'll take a look at that, especially, you've responded to something that they revealed to you as a concern or a problem. So again, it goes back to being a salesperson. A salesperson is your best friend. If you tell somebody you have a problem and they come in with a possible solution to the problem, and they're being nice and honest and respectful about it, and they're not trying to back you into a corner or twist your arm or get you to do something you don't want to do, if it's comfortable for you, then why wouldn't you at least say, yeah, I'll take a look at that? You have every right to be closed-minded, and so do they. If that's what they want I don't want to see that. No, I don't want to have a solution to my problem, but, hey, never mind, whatever. But a lot of people are going to be open to that. And test that out for yourself and see how it works for you. As far as following up, come back in and just, say things like, hey, how did you like the video that I sent you? What did you like best about that? Do you see how that might help you solve your problem? Would you like to look further and get some additional information? Or are you ready to give it a go? Things like this. Just be casual and never box anybody into a corner. I mean, if they haven't looked at your information yet, your website or your video or whatever, after a day or so or 2 days, and that's okay, no problem. I'm just being professional by following up with you, like I said I would. So, when do you think you might be able to see it? And I'll be glad to circle back and check in with you then. Well, I don't know. I'm pretty busy at work. If it starts to feel like they're evading you, and say, it doesn't really sound like you're open to this or really interested in this right now, and that's perfectly fine. So I don't want to pester you. I don't want you to feel like you're being, like I'm bothering you. So, let's kind of put this on the back burner for now. And if you'd like to, circle back with me in a day or a week or however long and check into this further, please let me know. But I don't want to be, especially if this happens several times. If you followed up and they haven't looked at it and you're starting to feel like a pest, then be vulnerable. Acknowledge that. I'm starting to feel like I'm maybe bothering you here, and that's the last thing I want to do. So, maybe this isn't really good timing for you and I to get together on this now, and that's perfectly fine. So, if you want to take a closer look at this a little later, please let me know, and I'll be glad to answer your questions or, do whatever I can to help you. But and then they might, because they feel comfortable, you've given them control. You have allowed them room to breathe and to be comfortable. They might come right back and say, "Oh no, I am interested. I just, I got tied up at work, or the kids have been driving me crazy, or this or that or the other thing." And they might just jump right back in and say, "No, I'm interested. I promise I'll watch it tonight, or I'll watch it tomorrow." And oh, okay, wonderful. Well, is it okay if I check back with you tomorrow, say around 5 p.m. after work, or ask them when they can, when they expect to be able to view it, and then okay, if you don't mind, I'll check back with you tomorrow, say an hour or so after they've said they're gonna watch your video or review your website. Just be real, be vulnerable. Let people, if you're a little anxious, it's okay to reveal that. I'm a little nervous here because I don't want you to. This is really good with warm market people. I'm a little nervous here because I don't, want to be, don't want to be weird about this. But I was thinking about what you said the other day, and I might have something that would interest you, a way for you to solve that problem. Might not be for you, but hey, can I share it with you and get your feedback? If you're talking to business people, hey, I really admire your success and your the business that you've got there on Main Street, and I want to run something by you. Can I get your opinion? Can I run something by you and get your feedback? Would you mind taking a look at this and telling me if you see any flaws in this? Whatever. Make people feel important. Compliment them and make them feel important. Any business owner that you prospect who is proud of what they've done and so on, if you tell them that you admire them for what they've accomplished, they're going to feel good. Don't you think that's really likely that they're going to listen to the next words out of your mouth because you've just made them feel good? It all comes down to people skills. Be vulnerable, make people feel good, compliment them, grease the social engine, so to speak. Learn how to converse and to have people share with you what's important to them. And there's all kinds of books on this topic, or go on YouTube, and there's a lot of free stuff. If you go into YouTube on the search bar and type in, how to talk to people, or how to whatever, just type in how to blank, whatever it is you want to learn. I guarantee you it's on YouTube, and you'll get some useful insights. And then you might want to invest in a course or something that'll give you further. You can only learn so much for free, right? So if you're going to get deep into something, then you might want to go to Barnes and Noble and buy a book, or go online and buy a course or whatever to dig deep into that. So after you follow up, then it's time to ask for the enrollment. If everything looks good, they've told you that they liked what they saw, or if they have questions. If they ask you questions, that indicates they're interested. So don't be nervous about that. If they start asking you questions, it's like, hallelujah, they have an interest. Well, if you don't feel comfortable in answering those questions, maybe you're new and just not sure about that, then bring in somebody in your team or somebody in your upline in your company, a three-way phone call, or a three-way text message, or maybe even as like a Zoom call or something like that. That can be done, three-way or even in small groups. My upline has a Zoom room that he uses for that purpose specifically, among other things like doing presentations. And just bring in somebody else that can get your prospects' questions answered if you're not comfortable answering questions. But as soon as you can, it is important to continue learning so that you can answer some of these questions. Now, this goes back to duplication. What duplicates is, the bringing in somebody else. Anybody can do that. Any new person, if you're trying to sponsor somebody and they see that they view you as an expert because you're able to answer the questions and to address their concerns and so on, that might scare them off. So you got to be careful with this. You don't want to give the impression like they have to be an expert in order to say yes and join you in the business. So probably best to bring in somebody else. Now later on, you can answer some of those questions, but maybe limit it to just a few of the easy ones, and then come in and say, that's a great question, Jim. I think I might know the answer to that, but I know somebody who'd be able to answer that a lot better than I think I can. Let me bring Todd on the phone, and he'll be glad to. I mean, he's got over 20 years experience in the business. I know he'll be able to give you exactly the answer you're looking for that'll be helpful for you. Stuff like that. So, and then just ask for the enrollment. If they like what they see, and you might assume the enrollment by saying, sounds like you're ready to get started, and then let them respond to that. Just be quiet when you ask a so-called closing question. Ask it and be quiet, because you want to see how they respond, and you want to read between the lines. If you sense that they've got some hesitation or some further concerns, then you can come back in and say, it sounds like you might have a few more questions, or it looks like you might be a little bit on the fence. Is there anything I can do to resolve any unanswered questions? Or just again, be casual, be friendly, be supportive, demonstrate your willingness to serve them, and the more you do that, the more comfortable they're going to be, and the more likely it is that they're going to go ahead and enroll. So, hey, sounds like you're ready to get started. Or you might just ask them, hey, are you ready to get started, or do you have additional questions? Either or. That question doesn't give them the option to say no, does it? Either one, there's still a good shot for you to have an enrollment. Are you ready to get started, or do you have more questions? Sounds like you're ready to go. Or you might come in and say, okay, well, here's the next step. Sounds like you're ready to rock and roll, so here's what we do next. And then give them the next step and show them or tell them how simple it is. In my case, my company takes enrollments, free enrollments for the accounts over the phone as well as online. So I might say something like, here's the next step. It's really simple. I can get you on the phone with the company right now. They're open and ready to help you, just like I am. Let's give them a quick call. It'll take about 5 minutes for you to set up your free account, and you can order products now, or you can wait until tomorrow and check out the website and see what it is you want to order at that point. I'll help you get your website set up. Real simple. Takes a couple minutes. Ready to do that now? And if you've made it comfortable and simple and easy, they're probably going to say, yeah, let's go ahead and do that. And do you have any idea what types of products you'd like to start with? Let me make a few suggestions, or whatever. If they've already revealed a concern, like a general health concern, they just want to give their body the best and protect themselves against aging and breaking down and feeling lousy, inflammation, whatever, then you might come in with, hey, I've got a suggestion for you. Why don't you try this product first and go from there? Or, we can add a couple products. It's completely up to you. Again, don't try to sell, big packages. You can if you've got some packages and you feel like it's appropriate for your prospect and so on, then you can do that. But in my company, we don't really focus on big packages, so I don't do that. But you might be in a company that has like a fast start bonus, and you'd like to earn that fast start bonus if you can sell a pack. So, yeah, you can try, but always give them the right and the ability to say no. So that's pretty much it on the process. I'm going to go ahead and I mentioned in the last video that I had a approach that really bypassed the sales filter and spoke to people to their subconscious mind. And I do have a couple videos on my channel here that'll go into that. One of them is called "How to Feel Great About Prospecting All Day Long," and the other one, part of the title is like the easiest sales approach in the world or something like that. They're both pretty short. Check those out. But I'm going to cover that real briefly here as well because I know you want that. I know you'll like this. I know you'll be able to use it. So I'm going to run it by you here real quick. Probably take me 5 minutes to go through this. So I learned from Joe Schroeder, who's a door-to-door meat salesman, as well as a top earner in network marketing in the past, and then he returned to meat sales. That's a whole different story. But I learned from him how to kind of misdirect the prospects' attention a little bit so that they don't feel approached, so that they don't feel like they're being sold. So if you were to go door to door or reach out to somebody by phone or even in Messenger, and you wouldn't do this in text. This is verbal. This is if you're speaking to somebody verbally. This is not appropriate for Messenger or text or anything. But you might say something like, hey, and look around a little bit if you're, with them. Hey, I wonder if you could, help me out. Maybe point me in the right direction. I'm promoting products for people like myself who want to get X benefit. And I'm looking for the next person I can help. Somebody who is open to reviewing some information, who in my case, who feels better, who wants to feel better, who wants to give their body the best nutritional fuel. I'm looking for the next person I can help, and I'm wondering if you might be able to help me out, point me in the right direction. Do you know somebody who sounds like that? Now, this is a third-party referral, and the reason that's so comfortable is because if they say no, they don't know anybody, it doesn't feel like a personal rejection, does it? I mean, they just said, hey, I don't know anybody. So you can really feel good about that. First of all, they're not going to feel like they're being sold or cornered because you haven't approached them directly. And you're not going to feel like you're being a pest or a salesperson because you haven't approached them directly and you've simply been asking for a referral. So I'll give you a few examples. Service type, product type, opportunity type. Hey, I wonder if you could help me out. Hopefully you could point me in the right direction. I'm promoting a online business for people like me who want a simple way to generate extra income, a hip pocket business that could provide some extra time, additional money, and even save money on taxes. And I'm looking for the next person I can help. Somebody who'd be open to reviewing some information, or even getting started for free, if that's the case. I'm promoting products for people like me who you've heard of CBD, right? Well, I'm promoting a CBD product that is pure. It's exceptional. A lot of people have gotten a lot of benefits from it. Anxiety and sleep and this and that and the other. And I'm looking for the next person I can help. Somebody who would be open to trying it. The completely risk-free, money-back guarantee, or at least reviewing some information, maybe watching a video or checking out a website. Do you know anybody who fits that description? Do you know anybody who sounds like that? Do you know anybody who'd be open to taking a look? Do you know anybody who would be interested in checking this out further? Something like that. I'm going to break it down real quick. Again, the first part is just kind of misdirecting their attention from the fact that you're approaching them by saying, people are programmed to respond positively when you ask them for help. So they're at least going to listen to the next words out of your mouth. And that's exactly what you're looking for. So, say something like, hey, can you help me out? Maybe point me in the right direction. And people are going to be, on the edge of their seats waiting for the next words out of your mouth. I'm promoting products for, or I'm promoting a business for people like me. I'm promoting a system for people like me. And again, that's another misdirection. You're touching your chest if you're in person, or you're saying that for people like me. Again, if it's you, if you're using words directed towards them, they may start to have that sales filter raise. So you say something like, I'm promoting something for people like me who want to, and then you describe the characteristics of the person that you're looking for. And in doing that, you're including the benefits of what you have. I'm promoting products for people like me who want a quick and easy solution to getting awesome nutrition, one serving a day. Maybe you can't swallow pills and want to take a powdered supplement. I'm looking for the next person I can help. Somebody who'd be open to reviewing information, somebody who's truly committed to their health, somebody who has some health concerns now. Just insert whatever phrase. I'm promoting X for people like me who blank, and insert the characteristics or the benefits of what you have there. Now, the cool thing about that is if they are the person that you've just described, their ear's going to perk up. This is something else I learned from Kim Claver. It's called calling out a person's name. Remember a bit ago I said, what's the most important word in Pete's world? What's the most important word in the English language to Pete? That word is Pete, his name. Calling out his name will perk his ears because that's his name. Well, this is a way to call a person's name, essentially, by describing the characteristics of the person you're looking for. If they're that person themselves and you've just called their name, their ears are going to perk up and go, well, yeah, that's, I might be interested in taking a look at that. Can you show it to me? Do you have a website? Whatever. And then you know what to do there. You just go in there and give them the information that they've just agreed to take a look at. If you see that you're generating interest, you might throw your story in there. And I shared with you in the last video how to construct your story. Yeah, I mean, this is what my life was like. This is what happened. I found this product. I found this service. I found this business. This is what it's done for me. Keep it short, real short. And you might want to save this for later. Just kind of feel out the situation. If it's appropriate to say it right here, then throw in your story. And this is what I found. This is what I saw. This is what I experienced. This is how I felt about it. Oh, I got really excited because it did this for me. Like within 2 days, I was like flat out amazed. And then what you tell people what your outlook is now. I really feel like I'm about to turn 60 years old. I feel like I'm doing what I can to make sure that when I'm 80, I'm not bedridden. I feel whatever. Don't say something ridiculous, but say something that's authentic and real for you. I'm just giving you ideas. So and throw that in there. So I'm promoting. Now, don't use the word sell. Don't use the word market. Use the word promote. It's the most low-key word. It's casual. It's easy. It's going to slide right past their sales filter. They're not going to think too much about that word. Everybody promotes something. But if you use the word sell products, or I'm doing some marketing, or they're not going to like that too much. That will bring up a sales filter. I'm promoting products for people like me, or I'm promoting a business for people like me who want, boom, X, fill in the blank. Figure out what your product, service, or opportunity provides and insert it there. And I'm looking for the next person I can help. What I do is help people solve problems. Do you know anybody who might be open to taking a look at this, might be ready to solve a problem like this, might be interested in checking this out further? Phrases like that. And they may give you one of three things are going to happen. Either A, they're going to possibly give you a contact. Yeah, my Aunt Millie has arthritis, and she's really been looking for something that'll help her, feel better. Okay, perfect. You have a little notepad with you and jot the name and number down, or Facebook contact info or whatever, and say something like, yeah, I promise I'm going to treat your aunt with the same respect and courtesy that I'm treating you with now. So I really appreciate the referral. Thank you so much. Anybody else come to mind? And get as many names as you can. That's one possible outcome. Number two, they're going to say, no, really can't think of anybody. And you say, okay, that's cool. I appreciate you, at least, searching for somebody that I could help. If somebody comes to mind, here's my business card. I'll be glad to, be of service to them. I'll treat them with the same respect that I've treated you. Never want to be pushy, but I appreciate you, trying to help. Thank you. Have a great day, whatever. And the third thing that might happen, like I said, you might have just called their name. They might be the person that is interested. Their ear might have been perked up. Yeah, can you tell me some more about that? Well, I'll be glad to do that, but probably even easier is just I'd love to give you a video to check out, and then we can circle back tomorrow, and I can see what questions you have, or how you liked it, or what you want to do then. And always give people room to make their own choices. You're keeping control by asking questions and steering the conversation in the direction that you want, but you're giving your prospect the feeling that they're in control because you always, always, always give them room to breathe, room to maneuver, you give them permission to say no, say things like, hey, this may or may not be for you, and if it's not, that's perfectly fine. I just wanted to throw this out there in case it might benefit you or somebody you know. Again, it doesn't matter really what the words you use are. You use words that are pretty similar to what I've shared with you, but it's not important what you say as much as it's important how you say it. I'm going to repeat that because this is key. It's not important exactly what the words or phrases you use, what you say. It's much more important how you say it. You can't say the right thing to the wrong person, and you can't say the wrong thing to the right person. Just relax. Don't worry about being perfect. Just fumble around a little bit with it. In fact, if you fumble around, you're going to make the person even more comfortable. I mean, think about it. If you're slick and polished and professional and Mr. Businessman about it or whatever, you think they're going to be like, you look like a salesperson. I'm out of here. No. And also, it gives you room to insert other phrases. If you're fumbling around a little bit, hey, you phrase, fumble, pause. Insert another phrase, fumble, pause. Ask a question, fumble, pause. Just insert building blocks using the format that I've just given you here. Don't worry about fumbling around, and go ahead and just be real and ask, hey, can you help me help somebody else? Do you know anybody I can help? Something like that. And that's pretty much all there is to that. Let's talk about retention for a little bit. Retention is tricky in the industry. The promise is residual income, right? The promise is ongoing income that comes in, beach money. So you can go to the beach and kick back and be sipping a pina colada or getting a suntan and having that money continue to roll in. Okay, let me say a couple things about that. First of all, is it possible? Yes, of course. They're not completely lying to you. Now, some presenters and companies might misrepresent that to a degree because a lot of things aren't permanent. Residual income can continue for a while and then go away. It can happen. I always prefer residual income over fast money and one-time bonuses or one-time commissions, although there's a time and a place for both. But in terms of retention, so that you can keep a residual income, it all comes down, first of all, to leadership. Are you aligned with the right company and the right leader? First of all, are you demonstrating yourself that you're a good leader, that you're You're not just talking the talk, but you're walking the walk. Are you doing the things that you want your people to do? You never want to ask somebody to do um, prospecting techniques or different things that you haven't done yourself or aren't currently doing, that you can't give them insights and experience on doing those things. Everything I've talked to you about, everything I've talked to you about here, I've done or am doing, and so I can talk authoritatively about that. So be the leader, um, be the person that is blazing the trail, and you might not be that way initially when you're new, but that's how you leverage your upline leader. You can tell your prospects, hey, I'm working with somebody who's, had this level of success, and you don't want to talk too much about money. You can just kind of throw it out there, don't be specific. Hey, my upline's made $17 million in the last 5 years. Well, yeah, that's probably going to scare your people away, but you might make it a little more vague. Like, my, my, um, my mentor upline has been in the business for 20 years and has created an executive level income in that period of time. He's done really, really well, but what's more important than that is the fact that he's doing the deal. I mean, he's walking the walk. He's not just talking the talk. He's helped X number of people rank up in the company in the last year. He's an awesome person. You can kind of leverage off your leader until you become a leader yourself, but do that as soon as you can. Be patient, keep going, learn what you can, keep going through the process and the steps, learning from your failures, which is the best way to learn is to learn from failure, learn from defeat, and pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and try again. And all of those experiences will be very, very valuable to the people that you bring into the business, because you're sharing what has worked and what hasn't worked, and they're going to already know kind of which direction to go based on what you or your upline leader is sharing with them. So, paint a vision. People follow visionaries. Your upline leader is going to paint a vision for you and your people until you're able to do that for yourself and your own team. So you might want to model your vision, pretty close to what your leader is painting that vision, or you can modify it or change it. If you have a little bit of a different objective, think of it like painting a beautiful landscape or something. Just paint the picture of the vision. Use descriptive words and adjectives. Speak to people's emotions. Speak to people's dreams. Speak to people's desires. Paint the vision of success. Always speak success. Never ever go to your downline, your people, and say anything negative. Never tell them that you're discouraged. I mean, there's an old saying in the industry: when you're up, go down. When you're feeling good, when you're feeling up, that's the best time to go to your people and to instill that in them. That's part of leadership. But when you're down, when you're discouraged, you never want to go to your people. You want to go upline and get counsel. You want to go to your leader and say, I'm struggling with this, and do you have any tips? Do you have any suggestions? What else can I do? What else can I learn? What else can I try? What books can I read on this topic? Do you have any ideas? You have any good audios for me that talks about this topic? When you're down, go up. Go up to your leader. When you're up, go down to your people and instill that positivity and that enthusiasm to them, because enthusiasm is infectious, and you will infect your people with positive enthusiasm. Be congruent. This is all about retaining your people. Be congruent. Don't be presenting yourself as don't be lying. Don't be presenting yourself as something that you're not. Don't be at war with yourself. If you find yourself promoting a product or service that you truly don't believe in, it's probably time to leave and find something else. It's probably time to find another product or service. If you have clashes with your upline and you find that they aren't what they presented themselves to be, or you're no longer comfortable with them, it might be time to find another opportunity. You probably don't want to, sponsor under somebody else in the same company. Pretty much every company I know of will frown upon that or outright, ban it from happening. So you wouldn't want to do that. But, if you're unhappy, find another opportunity, find another product, find another service, but be congruent, be authentic with yourself, be aligned with your values. It took me quite some time. I represented products and services, not so much products and services, because I've done a number of health and nutrition companies, but more like business models. I represented business models that I wasn't comfortable with, asking people for $500 buy-ins for big kits. I always felt uncomfortable doing that. Yet I attempted to do that for some time years ago because I wanted to make money. I wanted to, be successful fast, and that I saw that I wasn't being congruent with who I was and what my values are. All the things I promote are either free to start with a small investment later, or you can get rolling for like $50, maybe $100. I don't promote anything that's more than like $100 because I don't want to put anybody into a situation where it's likely they're going to lose. Flat out, I just there it is. That's how I feel about it. If there's even a remotely good chance that I'm going to promote something to somebody where they're going to lose out, again, I'm showing my concern for my people, right? I don't want I don't want you to fail. I don't want anybody to fail. I want people to feel good about it. I want people to have a good shot at success. If a new person's coming into a business, do you think they're going to have more success promoting something that's $500 or $1,000 to the people they know or the people they meet, or something that you can get started for free or maybe 50 or $100? Think about it. So that's how I, over time, became congruent with my values. Is I don't promote stuff that's super expensive. Not at this point. Maybe down the road I'll do something high ticket, but not now. That's not who I am now in my journey. So, be service oriented. Again, we're still talking about retention. Be service oriented. Work with your people. If they're struggling with something, be willing to step in there and make some contacts with them, help them with some follow-ups, get on three-way calls or three-way texts or in a Zoom room and help them answer their prospects' questions, help them help somebody else, work with them, help them to feel comfortable, give them the proper lessons. A lot of the great lessons in the industry are what I'm providing with you or to you in these videos. You can share some of these stories with them. Be service oriented. Make their needs more important than yours. I've worked with people in the past that, if there's an opportunity for them to get one over on you so they can make more money and add to their check, they might stab you in the back. It can happen in the industry. I don't know how common it is, but it can happen. It has happened to me a number of times. I would have been much more comfortable in continuing to work with these people if they had placed my needs and interests above theirs, because that's how they would have retained me. That's how I would have remained in their downline. That's how I would have continued to grow and continued to produce and continue to add to their paycheck. But because they were more focused on getting an extra $500 or $1,000 that month based on whatever, and stabbing me in the back, then that relationship was harmed. And in several cases, I left companies based on situations like that. And, just work with your people. Take care of your people. That's how you retain your people. But having said all that, some people are going to leave. I mean, people have shiny object syndrome is what it's called. Some people are just going to leave. Some people are so ADD or ADHD that as soon as they see the next shiny gimmick that comes down the pike, they're going to go, ooh, rabbit, or ooh, I mean, they're just going to jump. Again, don't sign up for that class. Don't ask why. It is what it is. But you're going to increase your odds of retaining your people if you do the things that I just mentioned. Still, some people are going to leave. Some people are going to quit. Some people are going to get discouraged. Some people are going to see the next shiny deal and go, ooh, I like that compensation plan better. I'm going over here. A lot of people left my nutritional company in the early 2000s because of some other gimmick company that came along. And that company today is out of business. They've been out of business for, I don't know, 10 years maybe. I'm sure they all wish they hadn't left my company because my company's, All right, enough of that. So let's talk about motivation for a second. Um, you really can't motivate people. People are either motivated to achieve their own goals and dreams or they're not. And what you can do is inspire people. You inspire people by going back to what we were talking about. You inspire people by painting a vision, painting a vision of success, of growth, of outcomes. You inspire people through your actions. I remember back when I was in the telecommunications company that I mentioned earlier. Was pretty new in the business, and we were doing hotel meetings at the time. It's not a common practice today, especially with the COVID and everything, but back then we were doing hotel meetings, and we'd pack the room, and we'd have a bunch of people, a bunch of prospects and reps there to see a presentation, and we had a big flip chart at the front of the room, and a presenter would get up there and they'd go through the whole business presentation and flip the pages and go through the whole 9 yards. And I wanted to grow. I wanted to be a leader sooner rather than later. So I volunteered. I said, I want to do that. And my buddy Antoine, that I mentioned in the last video, who was my sponsor in that program, the guy I met in the Sam's Club selling the carpet cleaning product, he goes, oh, you want to do that? I said, absolutely, I want to do that. Now, was I nervous? You bet I was nervous. Darn Skippy, I was nervous. But I said to myself, hey, this is how I'm going to go to the next level. So I got up there and I'm shaking in my boots and I'm going through the presentation, flipping through the pages, right? And I was like petrified. But I said, I'm going to do this. And after the first time I did it, a bunch of people came up to me and said, that was really good, man. I appreciate you doing that because this is the first time that some of those people, this was the first time that anybody had seen me do it there in the meeting. And a couple people I remember saying, I really feel inspired by that. I want to do that too. I see what you're doing there. You're stepping out. You're being bold. And I inspire them through that action. So you can definitely do the same or something similar by just, being out there, walking the walk. If people seeing you doing the deal, they're probably going to be inspired. They're probably going to be able to, they're probably going to remain with you. You'll have that retention. And you can definitely inspire people through leadership and vision and service. So, but you can't really motivate people. And that's why you have to sift and sort through the population. Even after you sponsor people, after you've got an organization, you have to kind of take the pulse of your organization and find out who's working and who's not. The people who are coming to you with questions, the people who are coming to you with situations that they want your help in resolving. Maybe they've hit a crossroads or a stumbling block or whatever. If they're coming to you and they tell you the experiences they're having, they're working, they're trying, they're attempting to walk the walk also. Well, there you go. You've sifted and sorted through your organization to find the people that you need to spend your time with. Do you want to spend time with people who are working or people who are sitting at home eating Cheetos and drinking beer and making excuses for why they can't go out there and do something, or they don't know people or this or that? Who do you want to be working with? Well, you know the answer. You want to be working with people who are making the efforts, who are stepping out, who are being bold, who are trying to make it happen. That's who you spend your time with. So, let's see. Innovation versus duplication. Now, they say in the industry that duplication is key. And Duplication is a tricky animal. Duplication is you really can't duplicate specific actions. If you tell somebody to do something in a specific way, based on differing personalities and so on, not everybody's going to be able to do that or want to do that. If you tell somebody to pick up the phone and to prospect them in a certain way, saying these certain things, and that's the only option that you present, a lot of people are going to be unwilling to do that or unable to do that. So, what can be duplicated is the proper mindset. You can teach people how to think. You can teach people perspectives. You can teach people the fundamentals of the business. For example, here's a fundamental. It's not about how you reach out to people. It's not about what you say to people. It's about the concept of exposure. That's a fundamental. You teach people, hey, the only thing that's important here is that you expose your business, your product, your service to a lot of people. Remember the law of numbers that we talked about in the last video? There's a fundamental. I gave you those 3 fundamentals first: the law of numbers, attitudes, and skills. Those are the 3 fundamentals. You can duplicate those things. You can duplicate the fundamentals. You can teach people how to think and how to look at certain situations. You can teach people how to look at the glass as half full rather than half empty. And you can teach people general principles, general phrasings, general techniques, but everyone probably will have their own spin on how they go about doing that. I mean, I remember hearing back years ago, I used to think like there was a right way and a wrong way to do this business. And I went to my upline constantly, can you give me the secret? There are no secrets in this business. I've given you the secrets: numbers, mindset, skills, a few basic skills. There are no secrets. Nobody is holding anything back from you. But I remember going to my upline and saying, give me the secret, give me the secret sauce. How can I succeed by next week? I was impatient. I really was. And they would always say to me, well, doesn't really matter how you do it. You just expose your business to a lot of people. And they told me stories like, there's a lot of people that have built their business over the years through advertising. Now, I'm not talking about that in my training. That's a tricky thing to master. And I don't want anybody losing a lot of money paying for ads that don't work. But there are plenty of people who used to run small classified ads and get people to respond to a voicemail or, whatever. And they built their business by advertising. What was the fundamental there? Exposure. They exposed their business to hundreds or thousands of people through a small advertisement. And of course, you can do the same thing online too. I am a good writer. I can construct good ads. I've had some success with ads. I know how to place free ads online. I have resources for that. But I'm not teaching you that here because that's, again, I can't necessarily duplicate my writing skills. I'm teaching you stuff that's duplicatable. If you're not a great writer, there's no point in me teaching you how to write great ads, right? If you want to learn more about that, let me know and I'll try to help. But people have built their businesses from ads. People have built their businesses entirely through warm market, through people they know. Now, that's never been my experience. A lot of people, probably most people, don't really have a lot of success with their warm market unless they already have credibility with them or success in some other business. Then that's a good reason to go to your warm market because they already look up to you. You've got maybe a brick and mortar business, or you're a successful real estate agent or whatever. If you've got some sort of credibility from the beginning, sure, warm market's a great option for you. But heck, all I'd done is basic, hourly jobs and restaurant work and a little bit of sales work, and I drove a taxi cab and all these different sorts of things. I'm not going to go to. I did go to my warm market, but I got shot down because I didn't really have any success already or credibility with the people that knew me. So that's a careful decision to make. People have built their businesses solely by cold market. I know people who have built their businesses by picking out a phone book and calling people out of the freaking phone book. Law of numbers. They just talk to enough people until they find the ones that said, yes, I'd like to see what you have. I know people who have built a business through the mail, direct mail. It's a viable way to go about exposing a lot of people to your business. Again, I don't teach that because unless you know what you're doing or have specific training on that, you'll probably lose a lot of money in postage. But is it doable? Yes, it is. And then I know people who have built, a few people that have built their business through like a client base, like they had a fitness club or they had a membership online or something, and they had an existing client base or an existing subscriber base, and then they went to those people maybe through email or different avenues and recruited people from their existing contact base. They're duplicating the fundamentals. They're duplicating mass exposure. That's how they're doing that. The way you go about it isn't nearly as important as duplicating the fundamentals. So and that's what I mean by innovation. Rather than duplicating specific actions, a lot of people have innovated. I know a guy named Mark Barrett who, back in the 80s, he had a real estate business, and he was sponsored by a guy named Mark Yarnell, I love that guy. Rest in peace, Mark. But he had a real estate business, and he ran ads and had people come into his real estate office and sit down for presentations. And he sponsored some people, but he never got anybody to do anything because they didn't have real estate offices and they couldn't duplicate what he was doing. So finally he went to Mark, and Mark taught him the right way to build the business. Duplicate fundamentals. Just expose it to a lot of people. So I'm going to talk a few minutes about automation, what it is and what it isn't. When I was in a company about 8 years ago, it was my first online digital product company. And I had only up until that point been involved in product-based companies, and that's what I've returned to, is product-based opportunities. But I was in this company, and I was amazed at what I was seeing. I mean, the rallies they had, the meetings they had were just, they grew like wildfire. They just took off. I went to a meeting in Atlanta, and there was like thousands of people there. And I hadn't seen that type of thing since my Amway days in the 90s, which is something they did regularly. And there's this one guy named Vic. He was Romanian, had an accent, the whole bit. And he came into Empower, and he developed a $700,000 income in 7 months. In 7 months. And I'm going like, how the heck does this happen? I mean, it completely blew my paradigm. Well, the way it was done is through automation. That's what they were teaching. And that's a double-edged sword. Is it possible to build a business through automation? Of course, it is possible. If you have email writing skills, if you have a blog, if you have if you know online marketing already, if you have certain skills, you can definitely build a business pretty much by just at your computer. But can a new person do that? Probably not. In fact, I'll say definitely not. Unless you have very specialized knowledge and specialized skills, you're not going to make automation work for you. So if you're looking at advertising, or somebody's promoting a business to you and they're talking about making money automatically, or automatic system, or this or that or the other, I'd be wary. I'd be cautious, because what they're promoting to you is not entirely untrue, but for a new person with no experience, it's not going to happen. So don't fall for that shiny object. Don't come in there and, oh, I can sit at home in my shorts and just make money behind my computer. Probably not. Okay. And the thing about automation is that they always talked about, oh, I made money just by sending emails and by never talking to people. Again, if you're a new person or relatively new in the business, That's not going to happen for you. You do want to talk to people. I mean, people join people that they know, like, and trust. If you're not showing your face on Facebook, if you're not doing Facebook Lives and showing who you are as a person, if you're not doing videos, or you're not actually speaking to people and communicating with people through phone, video, texting, or messenger, if you're not showing people who you are, the chances of you sponsoring anybody are virtually nil. So be really careful about what you look at, what you decide to promote, because automation, it's possible, but it's probably not going to happen for you until and if you get some special skills. And this comes back to attraction marketing as well. I'll throw that in. Attraction marketing is a way that people promote, sitting at home on your computer and making money. Attraction marketing is again, if you've already got a trust factor built with an audience that you've already created, then you can build a business through attraction marketing, through sending out emails and content creation and videos and so on and so forth. But and you can also use that opportunity to show results or share stories about your results. Some people flash checks, stuff like that. I think it's tacky. You'll never see me doing that. But some people do that and use that as some validation of their success, thinking that'll attract people. And yes, it does. It attracts the wrong kind of people frequently. It attracts the the scammers and the I want to make money by next week people, the people that want instant gratification, the people that don't believe in themselves and their ability to evaluate a business or a product or a service. Those are the kinds of people it attracts. Those are not the kind of people you're probably going to retain in your organization if you were to sponsor them in the first place. But automation and attraction marketing will work for you over time if you build an audience and you have different mechanisms in place to generate trust with your people. Then, like social media can be an automatic way of building a business when you over time communicate who you are to the people who are following you on Facebook or other social media platforms. Um, the internet is not really a business opportunity. The internet is a tool that you can use to build a business. The main benefit of using the internet is a tool to disseminate or send out information. It's a great way to communicate with people on social media. It's a great way to use Messenger. It's a great way to send people to a website. You've probably got a company website. You can send people to your website. They can educate themselves from the website, watch videos there, and then you can follow up with them. The internet is a tool. It's not a be-all, end-all business opportunity, at least not the way we're using it in network marketing or affiliate marketing. So you can use the internet for lead generation. You can build capture pages with marketing platforms. I have a marketing platform I use for that purpose. Generate leads for free, and then you've got their name, their email, and their phone number. You can reach out to them three different ways, phone, text, or email in that situation. Provide information, provide a funnel, a process for people to go through, educate themselves, find out what you have. And then on the back end, you've got an email autoresponder, which is an automatic way to send emails that you've set up ahead of time to send out additional information. It's another way to follow up, to send out emails, automatic emails, or you can type an email and then broadcast it to the people on your list that you create in real time. There's two ways to go about that. The marketing platform that I have allows me to do that. And, obviously it saves time, it leverages time, it makes things semi-automatic. But again, you're going to want to, especially in the beginning, you're going to want to be a person, be somebody who's accessible, be somebody who's willing and able to speak to your prospects if they need to speak to you. And if you have any questions about that, reach out to me and I'll be glad to help further if I can. So, going to talk just for a minute. We're getting down to the end here. I've probably got another maybe 10 minutes max on this video. I want to talk for just a second on bonuses and incentives. You know, it's human nature to want to get more for their investment of time or money. It's human nature to want to, accumulate as much as possible in a transaction. And a lot of successful marketers, they do offer bonuses. You know, they've got their main offer, their main proposition, sign up now and this is what you'll get, X, Y, and Z or whatever. And then to make it more appealing, they'll add bonuses, usually like information products or additional training, or maybe the bonus of, I'll provide you X amount of my time to work with you directly or whatnot. Bonuses and incentives. And that can be a really good practice. I do have a resource that I use to provide my own third-party incentives, and I create some of my own bonuses as well. So it's something to consider. Is what can I add to? How can I add value to my offer through some sort of bonus or incentives? Maybe your upline has a tool that they will let you use or offer as a bonus for your prospect joining your and his or her organization. So ask your upline, do you have any bonuses that I can offer that are relevant to what we're promoting that I can use as an incentive? Different types of, like I mentioned, training, additional support, information products, additional courses, savings programs. One thing I use is offering people ways to save money on virtually anything as an incentive, vacation packages, special offers, merchandise. I've actually got access to merchandise that I can give away in certain situations. Again, if you have questions about that and want to inquire, let me know. So I think we're pretty much wrapped up here. I'm going to go ahead and talk about a few people that I'm going to steer you towards to get additional insights, additional training or information on a few specific things. I'm not saying I'm an expert in all this. I've used many of these ideas to have some success and still, testing different things and using different things. But everything I've shared with you is something that I've used successfully or that I've learned about that's been successful for others and I'm using now and testing out how they'll work for me and so on. But some of these people that I'm about to share with you are bona fide experts in these specific areas. In terms of attraction marketing and working that way, bringing people to you without doing outbound prospecting, the best person I can think of to refer you to is a woman named Diane Hochman. That's Hochman. You can look her up on YouTube, and she's there. Just put her name in the search bar. She is arguably the queen of attraction marketing. She will help you immensely if that's an area of interest for you. If you want additional training on being nice, honest, and respectful in terms of prospecting and doing more traditional type of approaches, proactive approaches where you can control your results a little bit more than attraction marketing because you control the number of times you reach out to people and gives you a little bit more control over your outcome as a new person, then I will refer you to my sponsor. You can look him up on YouTube. He's got buku videos, all kinds of videos that go into more detail about some of the things that I've shared with you. His name is Todd Burrier, Burrier. Look him up on YouTube by putting his name in the search bar. He's also got a blog, toddburrier.com. If you resonate with him and wish to participate in the opportunity that he and I are involved with, please get back with me, and you'll be able to work directly with me and with Todd. So if that is something that resonates with you. Um, Another person I mentioned earlier, Kim Claver, she's gone to the top of 6 companies over the last 30 years or so. And she's one of the best things I've learned from her is um, how to speak to prospects in a way that doesn't come across like sales talk. You don't want to talk about your product or service or your opportunity directly by talking about the features of it and sound like, a jibber jabber salesperson. She's got techniques and insights on doing that. Look her up online as well, and on YouTube. It's Kim Claver, Klaver. She's also the person that taught me the concept of calling a person by name, by describing who it's for, who your product or business is for. She taught me that as well. As far as a subconscious mind, prospecting in a way that bypasses a prospect's sales filters and goes into their subconscious mind beyond the technique that I shared with you, the third party referral approach that uses some of those techniques. A man that goes much deeper into that topic is a man named Mark Januszewski. I believe that's Januszewski. That's how you spell his last name. Look him up as well. He has a course called Go 90 Grow, which I own and have gone through. It's tremendous training on this concept of bypassing the subconscious mind, and it goes far and beyond that. But a lot of people are interested in that. Is how do I get people to respond to me without running away? And he's got great training on that. Mark Januszewski. As far as how to tell stories and how to communicate very fluidly and through the use of stories and NLP, which is neuro linguistic programming. It's kind of hacking into a person's brain to similar to what I was sharing with the subconscious mind with Mark. How to tell stories, and I've seen this guy tell stories and present from stage, and people like pull out their credit cards and like just almost throw them at him. I want to buy, I want to buy, I want to buy. If that sort of thing is something you'd like to learn, look up a man named David Wood. You'll find him on Facebook. You'll find him on YouTube. He was the CEO of the company that I mentioned a little bit ago. When Vic went to $700,000 in 7 months, he was the number one earner in that company that is no longer in business, unfortunately. Their business management practices were a little off, and that company only survived about 5 years or so. But David Wood was the CEO and also probably the second highest income earner right behind Vic. He did very well, and he had learned internet marketing and how to use the internet in productive ways about 3 or 4 years before the start of Empower Network. Amazing dude. You'll learn a lot from him. I have learned so much about telling stories and presenting in a way that you're just kind of off the top of my head through the techniques, NLP, neuro-linguistic programming. Look up conversational hypnosis or neuro-linguistic programming on YouTube. You'll get a lot of information there. And look up David Wood. One thing there I'll add is there's a technique called embedded commands. And I'm going to throw this out there real quick because this is something that probably will pique your interest. If you want to essentially tell somebody to get started or to do anything, pay attention, get started, get ready to buy, whatever, you take that little phrase and you wrap it in a larger sentence like, what I'd like you to do now is to go ahead and pay attention to what I'm saying to you, because you will find that the more that I share this information with you, the more that you'll understand how powerful it will be. And then you'll be ready to get started and buy, because you'll feel like, wow, this is exactly for me. This is the sort of thing that he teaches. Embedded commands are just commands to do something that are embedded in a larger sentence that is frequently conversational style. Amazing stuff, great stuff to learn. I'm not an expert on this yet, but I'm using it and getting good results with it. So, and there's one more person I want to mention. He's also deceased. Unfortunately, he was next to David Wood. This is the guy that always got me so excited, just the way he presented. You'll want to look this guy up on YouTube. He's got a lot of YouTube videos. His name is Mark Yarnell, Yarnell. He's also got several excellent books out. Just go to Amazon, look up Mark Yarnell. This guy just always got my blood racing with the possibilities. He was just like, wow, dude. Same with Jim Rohn, the business philosopher I mentioned in the last video. Look up Jim Rohn, Rohn. He's also deceased. Rest in peace, Jim and Mark. But these guys are just flat out amazing for giving you insights and techniques towards, that'll help you become successful in this industry. So I hope that all of this was valuable for you. I don't think I've left everything out. I went to great lengths to include everything that I could think of, everything that I've used, everything that I've learned that has been useful and productive for myself and other people. And I think I covered it all. So, wow, we're at another 1 hour, 41 minutes, almost as long as the last video. But I hope this really was valuable for you. If you have any questions, anything that I can do to clarify something for you, additional resources, whatever, feel free to reach out to me. I'm totally accessible. You can reach me on Facebook. My profile is public. I respond to Messenger. I'm a very busy guy, with the family and the business, and I also have another independent contractor position that I work. So I'm busy, but I will get back to you. Feel free to poke me and remind me if you don't hear back from me immediately. That's fine. You can find me now on YouTube, of course. I will have additional videos going up. Please like my videos and subscribe if you feel you've gotten value. I would definitely appreciate that. And just let me know how I can serve you. That's what this has been about, is serving you to the best of my ability, and to do what I can to help you succeed in this awesome, awesome industry. It's all about growing as a person, and also succeeding in life. And in fact, that's why that I'm in this business. Sure, I definitely am excited about making an income in this industry, and I do. But really, my reason for being here primarily, and maybe you can relate, is I just wanted to grow as a person. I wanted to become more social. I wanted to become more of a loving person. I wanted to be somebody who puts out good karma, so that God can provide favor back to me. I wanted to be the person who overcame challenges, who overcame my childhood, which was kind of harsh. I wanted to be the person that could take the lessons and the things that I've learned in becoming a better person and having a better life. I wanted to be the person to turn around and share that with other people. I wanted to be the leader. I wanted to step out and be bold and gain more confidence, and just be better. Between my association and involvement in network marketing for the last 29 years, and for meeting and marrying the woman who is now my wife, those two things right there that God provided for me to benefit me are the reasons that I'm still alive, the reasons that I'm sober today. I've been sober for quite some time, and the reasons that that I'm here is I just wanted to be better. And in the process of doing that, I knew that I would succeed by helping others succeed. So I hope I've done that for you and given you value. I appreciate your attention and your time, and please let me know how I can help you. Thank you again.